The Zilthran scout ship Nebula Whisper drifted silently through the inky void, its sensors probing the unremarkable yellow star system. Lieutenant Kazekt, the lead xenobiologist, lounged in his gelatinous rest pod, tendrils lazily waving as he monitored the incoming data streams. "Captain, you need to see this!" Kazekt's sudden shriek reverberated through the ship's communication channels. Captain Vrolix slithered onto the bridge, her iridescent scales shimmering with annoyance. "This had better be important, Lieutenant. I was in the middle of my hibernation cycle." Kazek's tentacles trembled as he manipulated the holo display. "It's the third planet, Captain. We've detected thermal anomalies, concentrated pockets of extreme heat contained within artificial structures." Vrolix's compound eyes widened. "Impossible. No known sentient species could withstand such temperatures. Are you certain?" "The readings are clear, Captain, and there's more." Kazek's voice dropped to a horrified whisper. "They're submerging themselves in it, voluntarily." The bridge fell silent, the crew struggling to comprehend this revelation. Captain Vrolix's antennae twitched nervously. "Show me," she commanded. The holo display flickered to life, revealing grainy footage captured by their long-range probes. Bipedal creatures, humans as they called themselves, were climbing into steaming vats of liquid. Their skin turned an alarming shade of pink, yet their facial expressions suggested pleasure. "By the cosmic egg," First Officer Quilnax chittered, "are they masochists?" Kazek's tendrils writhed in agitation. "It gets worse. They add chemical agents to the water, perfumes, oils, substances that would melt the exoskeletons of half the Galactic Council species." Captain Vrolix's scales paled. This changes everything. If these humans can withstand such torturous conditions for recreation, imagine their potential as a species. The Nebula Whisper's crew stared at the images, a mix of horror and fascination rippling through their alien minds. "We need to report this immediately," Vrolix declared. "The Galactic Confederation must be informed. These humans, they're either the most resilient species we've ever encountered, or the most insane," Quilnax interjected. Vrolix nodded grimly. "Plot a course back to headquarters. We need to convene an emergency session of the Xenological Ethics Committee." She paused, mandibles clicking thoughtfully. "And discreetly gather more data on these baths. The Confederation will want a thorough analysis." As the Nebula Whisper turned away from Earth, its sensors still locked on the perplexing thermal signatures, the crew couldn't shake the feeling that they'd stumbled upon something that would shake the very foundations of galactic understanding. Kazek's, alone in his lab, replayed the footage of a human sinking into a steaming bathtub with a contented sigh. He shuddered, exoskeleton clattering. How? How can they endure it? The question would haunt him, and soon the entire galactic community, as humanity's most mundane ritual, became the subject of intergalactic scrutiny and concern. The grand amphitheater of the Galactic Confederation buzzed with a nervous energy. Representatives from 1,000 worlds huddled in their climate-controlled pods, a cacophony of whistles, clicks, and pheromone releases filling the air as they debated the shocking revelation from Earth. High Arbiter Zexnal, her crystalline form glittering under the soft bioluminescent lights, called the emergency session to order. "Esteemed colleagues," her harmonics resonated, "we face an unprecedented situation. The humans of Sol 3 have been observed engaging in recreational boiling." A collective gasp rippled through the assembly. "Preposterous," bellowed Grokthar, the Ergolian ambassador. His gelatinous mass quivered with indignation. "No sentient species would willingly subject themselves to such torment." Zexnal's facets flickered in agreement. "And yet, the evidence is undeniable. We must investigate further before making first contact. I propose we send a covert research team to study this bathing phenomenon." Dr. Ilara Voss, the Confederation's leading xenobiologist, slithered forward, her serpentine body coiled around the speaker's podium. "I volunteer to lead the mission," she hissed, eyes gleaming with scientific curiosity. "We must understand the physiological adaptations that allow humans to endure such extreme conditions." "Objection!" The cold, metallic voice of X-11, the cybernetic representative of the machine worlds, cut through the chamber. "Sending organic researchers is too risky. What if this bathing is a contagion, a mind-altering practice that drives species to self-harm?" Murmurs of agreement rippled through the assembly. Zixnall's crystalline structure vibrated with concern. A valid point, X11. Perhaps a combined team of organic and synthetic researchers would be prudent. If I may, High Arbiter, a new voice chimed in. All eyes turned to Quickslot, the Amphathian diplomat known for his species' unparalleled ability to comprehend alien cultures. We're approaching this all wrong. We need to understand, not just observe. I propose we capture a human specimen and conduct controlled experiments. A shocked silence fell over the amphitheater. Barbarian! Grokthar's outburst shook the chamber. We are not savages. We cannot simply abduct a sentient being. Quickslot's antenna drooped. I meant no offense, but consider the stakes. If humans can withstand such torture for pleasure, imagine their potential as warriors or their threat as enemies. The amphitheater erupted into chaos. Delegates shouted, buzzed, and released agitated pheromones. Zixnall's crystalline form vibrated at a frequency that demanded silence. Enough! Her harmonics cut through the din. We will proceed with caution and ethics. Dr. Voss, assemble your team. You have authorization for covert observation only. No direct contact, no abductions. We need data, not intergalactic incidents. Dr. Voss nodded, her scales shimmering with excitement. We'll depart immediately. I've already begun designing protective suits to shield us from the extreme temperatures we may encounter. As the assembly adjourned, delegates huddled in small groups, whispering theories and concerns. The question on everyone's mind, what other unimaginable practices might these humans be capable of? Aboard her research vessel, the Cosmic Inquiry, Dr. Voss reviewed the mission parameters with her eclectic team. Zyborg 7, a sentient AI housed in a heat-resistant chassis. Flix, an arrow incapable of transforming into a fine mist to infiltrate human dwellings. And Gloop, an amorphous plastian perfect for gathering physical samples. Remember, Dr. Voss cautioned, her forked tongue flicking nervously, we observe only, no matter how tempting it might be to experience this bathing firsthand. Zyborg 7's ocular sensors pulsed. Affirmative, Doctor, though I must admit, my curiosity subroutines are operating at maximum capacity. As the Cosmic Inquiry entered Earth's orbit, cloaking fields engaged, Dr. Voss felt a shiver run down her spine. They were about to witness something that defied galactic understanding, a species that sought out what others would consider torture as a form of relaxation. Prepare for atmospheric entry, she commanded, and may the cosmic egg protect us all from whatever madness we're about to uncover. The ship descended, carrying its crew towards a mission that would challenge everything they thought they knew about sentient life in the universe. The truth about human bathing awaited, and with it, perhaps the key to understanding humanity's unique place in the cosmos. Jake Thornton stretched languidly, his muscles aching pleasantly after a grueling day at the construction site. Finally, he muttered, kicking off his muddy boots. Time for a nice, hot bath. Unbeknownst to Jake, his every move was being scrutinized by the alien research team. Dr. Voss's scales rippled with anticipation as she watched through the Cosmic Inquiry's advanced surveillance systems. Subject appears to be preparing for the ritual, Zyborg 7 noted, its metallic voice tinged with what almost sounded like excitement. Jake hummed contentedly as he filled the tub, steam rising in thick clouds. He poured in a generous amount of lavender-scented bath salts, the crystalline particles dissolving with a soft hiss. Chemical warfare, Flix exclaimed, his misty form condensing slightly in alarm. Negative, Zyborg 7 corrected. Scans indicate the substance is non-toxic, purpose unknown. Dr. Voss leaned closer to the view screen, her forked tongue flicking rapidly. Fascinating. The human seems to be enhancing the liquid somehow, but why? Jake, blissfully unaware of his alien audience, sank into the steaming water with a long, satisfied groan. Oh yeah, that's the stuff! The research team recoiled in horror. Madness! Gloop burbled, his amorphous form quivering. The human has willingly submerged itself in near-boiling liquid. Dr. Voss's scientific curiosity warred with her instinctive revulsion. Observe closely, she hissed. We must document every aspect of this ritual. Jake closed his eyes, feeling the heat seep into his tired muscles. He reached for his waterproof tablet, queuing up his favorite relaxation playlist. Soft, ambient music filled the bathroom. Audio stimulation, Zyborg 7 noted. Perhaps to distract from the pain? But Jake showed no signs of discomfort. If anything, he seemed to be enjoying himself. Inconceivable, Dr. Voss murmured. Their nervous systems must be fundamentally different from any known species. As Jake soaked, the alien team meticulously recorded every detail. His elevated body temperature, the chemical composition of the bath water, even the slight pruning of his fingers and toes. After what seemed an eternity to the watching aliens, Jake finally stood up, water cascading off his body. He reached for a fluffy towel, wrapping it around himself with a contented sigh. "Best part of my day," he said to no one in particular, stepping out of the tub. Dr. Voss's team exchanged bewildered glances. "Did you hear that?" Flix whispered, his misty form swirling agitatedly. "It enjoys the torment." Zeborg 7's processors whirred as it attempted to compute this paradox. Perhaps the human's definition of best differs significantly from galactic standard. Jake, oblivious to the existential crisis he'd just triggered among his hidden observers, padded to his bedroom. He flopped onto his bed, skin still flushed from the bath, and was asleep within minutes. Dr. Voss stared at the sleeping human, her scientific mind racing. "We need more data," she declared. "Gloop, prepare for sample collection. Flix, scout the dwelling for any additional bathing paraphernalia. Zyborg 7, compile a full analysis of the human's physiological responses during the ritual." As her team sprang into action, Dr. Voss couldn't shake a nagging feeling. They were missing something crucial, some fundamental aspect of human psychology that made this bizarre practice not just tolerable, but enjoyable. "Computer," she commanded, "cross-reference all known species relaxation techniques with human bathing. There must be a precedent somewhere in the galactic database." The computer hummed for a moment before responding. "No matches found. Human bathing represents a unique phenomenon in recorded galactic history." Dr. Voss's scales rippled with a mix of frustration and excitement. They were on the verge of a breakthrough, she was certain. But would understanding this human ritual bring enlightenment, or reveal a species so alien, so unfathomable, that peaceful coexistence might be impossible? As Jake slumbered peacefully, unaware of the scientific furor he'd unleashed, Dr. Voss made a decision. "Prepare a secure transmission to the Galactic Confederation," she ordered. "We need to expand this study. One human's bathing habits aren't enough. We need to observe more." Little did Dr. Voss know, her seemingly innocuous research was about to spark a chain of events that would reshape the galaxy's understanding of humanity, all because of a simple, hot bath. The Galactic Confederation's High Council chamber was in an uproar. Holographic displays flickered with images of humans submerged in steaming water, their faces contorted in what the aliens could only interpret as expressions of extreme anguish. "This is beyond barbaric," shrieked Ambassador Skital of the vaporous nebulae. His gaseous form pulsated with indignation. "We cannot allow this to continue." High Arbiter Zixnal's crystalline structure vibrated with concern. "Let's not be hasty. Dr. Voss's team has gathered extensive data. Perhaps there's an explanation we're overlooking." Dr. Voss slithered forward, her scales shimmering under the chamber's bioluminescent lighting. "Esteemed Council, our findings are perplexing. Humans not only tolerate these scorching immersions, but they seek them out. They've even developed industries around this practice." The chamber erupted in a cacophony of shocked clicks, whistles, and pheromone releases. "Impossible!" thundered Grokthar, his gelatinous mass quivering. "No species could evolve to enjoy torture." X11, the cybernetic representative, interjected with a cold metallic tone. "Perhaps it's not evolution, but manipulation. Could an outside force be compelling these humans?" A tense silence fell over the chamber as the implications sank in. Quickslot, the Empathian diplomat, nervously cleared his throat. "If I may, our preliminary scans of human history show no evidence of external influence. This bathing appears to be a practice they developed independently." Ambassador Zektal's gaseous form swirled agitatedly. "Then they're insane. A species that willingly subjects itself to such torment cannot be allowed to join the galactic community. They're a danger to themselves and others." The chamber erupted once more, delegates shouting proposals ranging from quarantine to merciful extinction. Suddenly, a booming voice cut through the chaos. "Enough!" All eyes turned to Admiral Krotak of the Galactic Peace Corps. The grizzled veteran's exoskeleton bore the scars of 100 campaigns. "Have you all lost your minds?" Krotak growled. "We're talking about declaring war on a species because they enjoy hot baths?" A sheepish silence fell over the chamber. Krotak continued, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "Oh yes, let's mobilize the fleet against the terrifying humans and their bubbles. I'm sure that will go down in history as our finest hour." Dr. Voss, sensing an opportunity, quickly interjected. "Admiral Krotak is right. We're letting our preconceptions cloud our judgment. What if? What if this bathing isn't torture at all? What if it's something we simply can't comprehend with our current understanding?" The idea hung in the air, tantalizing and terrifying in equal measure. High Arbiter Zexnall's facets flickered thoughtfully. "An intriguing hypothesis, Doctor, but how can we verify it without risking direct contact?" A small voice piped up from the back of the chamber. We could ask them?" All eyes turned to Pip, a junior aide from the diplomatic corps. The diminutive alien shrunk under the sudden attention. Pip continued, gathering courage, "we've been observing humans for weeks. Why not just send a message, explain our concerns? Maybe they can explain this bathing thing to US." The chamber fell silent as the simplicity of the suggestion sank in. Admiral Krotak barked out a laugh. "Ha! Out of the mouths of hatchlings. The kid's got more sense than the lot of you combined." High Arbiter Zixnall's crystalline form shimmered with what might have been embarrassment. "A logical proposal. Dr. Voss, can your team compose a suitable message? One that won't cause, interstellar panic?" Dr. Voss nodded eagerly. "We'll craft something appropriately diplomatic, perhaps framing it as a cultural exchange." As the council adjourned to deliberate on this new course of action, tensions remained high. The fate of human-alien relations hung in the balance, all because of a fundamental misunderstanding about the simple pleasure of a hot bath. Back on Earth, Jake Thornton was just settling into his evening soak, blissfully unaware that his relaxing ritual had nearly triggered an intergalactic incident. As he closed his eyes and sank deeper into the steaming water, he had no idea that somewhere in orbit, a team of alien researchers was frantically composing a message that would change the course of human history. "Dear humans," Dr. Voss dictated, her forked tongue flicking nervously, "we come in peace and extreme confusion. Could you please explain why you voluntarily boil yourselves?" Zyborg 7's ocular sensors pulsed. "Perhaps we should rephrase that last part, Doctor." Dr. Voss sighed. This was going to be a long night. The message from the Galactic Confederation arrived on Earth with all the subtlety of a supernova. Governments worldwide scrambled to respond, scientists debated furiously, and social media exploded with alien memes faster than light speed. In the midst of the chaos, Jake Thornton found himself thrust into the spotlight. His mundane evening bath, unknowingly observed by alien researchers, had become the catalyst for humanity's first extraterrestrial contact. "This is insane!" Jake muttered, pacing nervously in his small apartment. A team of diplomats and xenobiologists had just left after grilling him for hours about his bathing habits. All this fuss over a bubble bath? Meanwhile, aboard the Cosmic Inquiry, Dr. Voss and her team were processing the flood of information pouring in from Earth. "Fascinating," she exclaimed, her scales shimmering with excitement. "Humans use these baths for a variety of purposes. Hygiene, relaxation, medical treatments. It's not torture at all." Zyborg 7's processors whirred as it analyzed the data. "Correction, Doctor. While not intentional torture, the practice does seem to have originated from rather painful beginnings." Flix, in his misty form, swirled curiously around a holographic display of ancient Roman baths. Indeed, early humans used scalding water to cleanse themselves of parasites. Over time, the practice evolved into a pleasurable experience. Gloop burbled thoughtfully. "An adaptation of pain into pleasure? Remarkable." Back on Earth, the United Nations had hastily convened a special session to draft a response to the Galactic Confederation. Diplomats argued fiercely over every word, acutely aware that the future of human-alien relations hung in the balance. Ambassador Chen Wei, representing Earth in the intergalactic dialogue, cleared her throat nervously as she addressed the alien delegation via subspace transmission. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Confederation," she began, "on behalf of humanity, we thank you for your concern regarding our bathing practices. We assure you, no torture is involved. In fact, we'd like to invite you to experience it for yourselves." The alien delegates exchanged shocked glances. High Arbiter Zexnal's crystalline structure vibrated with a mix of fear and curiosity. "You want us to participate in this ritual?" Ambassador Chen nodded, a slight smile playing on her lips. "We believe it's the best way to foster understanding between our species. We've prepared special facilities to accommodate various alien physiologies." The Galactic Confederation erupted into frenzied debate. Some delegates were horrified at the idea, while others buzzed with scientific curiosity. Admiral Krotak's gruff voice cut through the chaos. "Oh, for the love of the cosmic egg, I'll do it. Someone's got to show some backbone around here, even if I don't technically have one." And so, in a moment that would be forever etched in the annals of intergalactic history, a grizzled alien admiral lowered himself into a custom-built bathtub filled with comfortably warm water. "This is ridiculous," Krotak grumbled as attendants adjusted the temperature and added a specially formulated mixture of alien-friendly bath salts. "I can't believe I'm— Oh!" The Admiral's exoskeleton suddenly relaxed, his compound eyes widening in surprise. This is— pleasant?" Dr. Voss, observing from a respectful distance, could hardly contain her excitement. "Admiral, how do you feel?" Krotak's mandibles clicked in what might have been a smile. "Like I've been fighting gravity my whole life without realizing it. This is soothing." Word spread quickly through the Galactic Confederation. Soon, alien diplomats were lining up to experience the mysterious human bath for themselves. Custom facilities sprang up worldwide, catering to every conceivable alien physiology. Jake Thornton watched the news reports with a mixture of amusement and disbelief. Clips of aliens experiencing their first baths had gone viral, from gaseous beings condensing in steamy saunas to crystalline entities vibrating contentedly in sonic cleansing chambers. "Well, I'll be damned," Jake chuckled, sinking into his own familiar bathtub. "Who'd have thought? We made first contact with aliens because of a bubble bath." As Earth celebrated its newfound place in the galactic community and alien species discovered the simple joys of a good soak, Dr. Voss made a final entry in her research log. In conclusion, the human practice of bathing has proven to be not a form of torture, but a universal pleasure. It has fostered understanding between species, opened new avenues of cultural exchange, and reminded us all of a fundamental truth. Sometimes the greatest discoveries come not from our differences, but from the simple joys we share. She paused, then added with a flick of her forked tongue. "Personal note, I may need to requisition a bathtub for the cosmic inquiry. For ongoing research purposes, of course." As the story of humanity's torturous bath spread across the galaxy, a new era of intergalactic relations dawned. Spas became the newest hotspots for diplomatic negotiations, and taking a bath entered the galactic lexicon as a euphemism for finding common ground. And Jake Thornton? He parlayed his unexpected fame into a successful chain of intergalactic bathhouses, proving once and for all that when it comes to bringing people and aliens together, there's nothing quite like a nice hot bath.